Welcome to the Conscious Hustler podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Hardin. I know being a leader takes stamina and constant self-reflection. In my double-decade career, I've gone from intern to CEO, launching hundreds of creator campaigns for Fortune 500 brands and building new businesses for creators to grow and scale. Along the way, I have met some of the most interesting people working behind the scenes who have pursued excellence in work and embraced personal growth as mindful leaders. This podcast is dedicated to lifting the veil on successful creative professionals, their mindset, their motivation, and their heart posture. Together in each episode, we will explore the tools you need to not only thrive in your business, but also nurture your soul. My intention is to help you confidently own your work and affirm your experience. If you like what you hear, don't forget to share this podcast episode with a friend, with a neighbor, with a coworker, and subscribe to our channel. Okay, let's get started. All right, we are back, and I'm really excited for this episode of the Conscious Hustler podcast because it's very rare that this happens, but we also have another founder, a content creator who also has a platform. Her name is Natalie Barbu. Natalie Barbu is the founder of Rella and is a content creator and has been for the past 13 years. Her company, Rella, is a direct result of her experience as a creator. It combines the automation of content planning and the power of project management. If you are in social, you know this is a dream, okay? And I want to tell you, this girl is not doing it by herself. She and her co-founders are being backed by Charge VC, Precursor Ventures, Liquid 2 Ventures, Hustle Found, and Goodwater Capital, and I'm sure many more coming down the pipe. So Natalie, thank you for joining us. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. Where you dialing in from, Natalie?
Yeah, well, first, thank you so much. I'm really excited to chat as well. And I'm calling out of Miami, so that's where I'm based right now.
Oh, Benito, a Miami.
Yeah.
Are you from Miami?
I was born down in South Florida and then mainly raised in North Carolina. My family had moved when I was about 9, and then I moved back down here about 4 years ago.
Oh, okay, nice. All right, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, so we have a Southern thing going on here, which I
Right. Yeah,
love.
yeah, yeah.
So tell me more about your journey as a content creator. Like, were you in school? How did this sort of start for you?
Yeah, so I started content creation on YouTube back in 2011. So it's been a very long time now doing it. It was back when YouTube really wasn't anything like it is today, but I remember seeing that there were girls my age filming makeup tutorials and, filming inside their bedroom, hauls, like what they got at the mall, what they got at CVS and the drugstore. They're filming what makeup they wear to school or what they're wearing to school. And I was just so fascinated by these normal girls that were
Mhm.
posting content that I found really entertaining and relatable, and I was like, "Wait, this is fun. Like I feel like I could do something like this." So, I really just started because I was bored one day and I was already watching these girls on YouTube and I was like, "I think I can do something similar to this." So, I remember I filmed my first few videos on my laptop on photo booth and then edited on iMovie, and the quality is horrible. The videos are bad, but it was just like pure enjoyment for me. It wasn't anything that I thought would be a career. I didn't think it could be anything like noteworthy. It really was just I was bored and it was fun. And I really enjoyed it. And I remember seeing a couple subscribers come in. It was like 3 subscribers. Like it was not
Oh
anything.
yeah.
But I remember being like, whoa, this is cool. Like, this is cool that people are finding me for the first time. This is cool that people are, commenting on my videos. Like, wow. And this was really my first experience, I guess, with like followers because this was before Instagram. This was Facebook was a thing, and I was on Facebook. But again, that was just like the friends that you knew in real life. I had MySpace when I was younger, but that was, also just people that you know in your real life. So this was my first time when I was like, oh, like people are finding me and I don't know who they are. Like this is really fun. And I just loved it and I just kept posting. And then eventually, I mean, it took me a really long time, but fast forward 8 years and I was able to quit my job, do social media full time. And then I started a company after that. But yeah, I was doing it for a long time just simply because I loved it and it was really fun for me.
Okay. So wait, I was just going to ask you, so when you were sort of in this space where you had a job, you said you quit your job to pursue this full time. What were you doing? Did you pursue a career in social?
No, so I started social media. I started on YouTube when I was 15, so I was really young. And then I went to college. I studied engineering actually. So I studied industrial engineering. So it really did not have to do with social media at all. Again, I really didn't think that social media could be a career. I always thought that, I was like, what, I'll do it on the side. If something ever comes out of it, great. If not, like I have this, degree to fall back on. And so I had my degree. I ended up working for Accenture, which is a consulting company, and then I had quit that job to do social media full time. So I was always doing it like as a side hustle, and my career and my side hustle never overlapped at all.
This is really fascinating to me too, because there are a lot of folks that are really interested in creating their personal brand as a side hustle. We are now in the era of like B2B creators. So you have folks that are sitting in their job, but then they also have this, creator lifestyle in terms of doing brand activations, while they're in their 9 to 5. Um, I think it's really interesting. I would love for you to speak on that that era of when you decided, you know what, I'm not a maybe you weren't as passionate. I don't know, were you just not as passionate about engineering and you're like, I can see myself doing more of social, making this a sustainable career path. Like, what were the decisions that led you to leave the 9 to
Yeah.
5?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't passionate about my major or even consulting. I was working really hard on social media on the side so that I could quit one day, because at that point I was already making money, so I knew that there was money in it. And this was 2019. By the time I graduated in 2018, quit my job 2019. So at that point people were already full-time creators, there was money involved. So I knew that I could do it full time if I like really worked hard enough to do it. And so I was like, I'm going to put all my free time to try to grow my social media so that I can quit, because I really like didn't love my job. I didn't see myself following the footsteps of like my boss or the people at my
Yeah.
company. Like that's definitely not what I wanted to do. I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I always viewed social media as a stepping stone for me. I always thought like I have this amazing platform, and like I need to take advantage of this right now. So if I do start a business, I do have this platform. And so I had actually quit my job, and then I started an agency where I was doing, social media for different brands. I was doing consulting work for like marketing strategies and social media strategies and influencer marketing for different brands. So I had started an agency once I had quit my job, because again, like I said, I always knew I wanted to do something else, but I just viewed social media as this like platform and stepping stone that I needed to take advantage of. And I obviously genuinely love it. But yeah, I've always felt like I wouldn't be fulfilled if I just did social media.
Yeah. What do you think of, because you know, and this kind of ties into Rella, right? So, my background is in and has been in, the music business and advertising. And so I had more of a traditional background sitting in an advertising agency, literally helping to start the social discipline. I uh, focused on creator strategy, but like, it sounds like your domain expertise is because you are living it. And,
Mhm.
when you decided to start Rella, did you kind of work with or, have friends that were in like sitting in social media teams at agencies to sort of figure out like, well, what are those pain points? Or, how did Rella like really come about, through
Mhm.
your experience as a creator?
I definitely had some friends that, worked as social media managers, but honestly, through my own agency, I kind of figured out what the pain points were. And then just being a creator myself, I think there's a lot of overlap with content creators, social media agencies, social media managers. Like, there is a lot of overlap in their workflow, not necessarily in maybe like the end result, like one person's doing
Mhm.
it for themselves, one person's doing it for the brand, but there's a lot of overlap with like sharing content, needing approvals, managing all of the content that you need to film and upload, and being on multiple platforms at once. It's just agencies have that as at scale versus creators do that on an individual level. So there was a lot of overlap there. Then when I started to have my agency, I started seeing those pain points. So honestly, the way that we built Rella was through like my own experiences. And I mean, at first, Rella was actually targeted more towards creators versus agencies. And then this past year, we were like, agencies are actually the ones that feel this pain point way more. Like, we need to go this route instead. And we like completely relaunched the product specifically for like social media teams versus, just an individual content creator. And so I think that bias of mine, where I considered myself like a creator first, definitely like didn't wasn't the best, because I thought like, oh, my pain point is like everyone's pain point as a creator. But I realized quickly that like creators are not that organized. They're not as, and I think I was more organized because I had the agency side of myself. So I translated the agency part of my brain to my content creation. But a lot of creators don't do that. And so we realized, okay, we actually need to service like the agencies and the teams instead of the individual like influencer. And it's really helped grow our business.
Do you think that like the content creator that kind of like, do you think they like their organized mess? Do you think that they were like, I don't want to, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, but it's
Yeah,
their own process? Is
I
there
think
something to that?
yes, I think so many people are like, oh my gosh, that sounds so great, I need to get a better system. But they never do it. It's like
Yeah.
they might say it, they might recognize that they need a better system. But I think it's one of those things, like you said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, if it's working, then whatever, like that's so on low on the list of priorities for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
um and yeah, that's why I think honestly it's really hard to sell SaaS products to creators.
Yeah. Um, Say more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this boom in the creator economy a few years ago, and a bunch of like VCs were back in creator economy startups. Ours was one of them. Like, we were considered a creator economy startup, and then slowly we've started to see that they're not sustainable, and creators are actually really not great customers for SaaS businesses because, like I said, like they're not having that organized mindset. Like you mentioned, it's like that organized chaos which they prefer. And I think it's one of those things that they're fine with it. They're not, they're not necessarily, they're making so much money doing, not putting not that many hours in, if I'm being completely transparent.
Hmm.
Like, if a creator is charging $25,000 for an Instagram reel, that Instagram reel max takes them 8 hours, let's say, and like that's like someone that's putting a lot of work into their reels. Like, most people an Instagram reel might take an hour for $25,000. Like, when you're working at that, earning that much money for however many hours you're putting in, your priority isn't like, oh, I need a better system, because like it works. You're making a lot of money with the system that you do have. Why would you change it? I think maybe it's better for people that have like they're doing it as a side hustle, or they're not even doing it as a side hustle, but maybe they have like, they're just a more like type A person, like it works for them. But
Yeah.
creatives in nature just aren't type
Yeah.
A.
Yeah.
So it is hard to sell SaaS to them. I think it's
Yeah.
easier to sell like things that are actually going to improve their quality of their videos immediately, that they can see. So like editing software, that I think is much easier to sell to creators, like a CapCut, Final Cut Pro, something like that. Or editing, like Tessa does so well with creators because it like instantly makes their videos or photos look better with photo editing apps, or a better camera, like things like that, where they can visibly see like, oh, this is making it my content better. But an organization tool doesn't necessarily do that from like a creative perspective unless you have that organized mindset. And so with like with SaaS products, that's why we were like, we need to sell to businesses because they need this organization, or literally their business will not survive. So we've had much better luck doing that.
Yeah, I get really excited about this because of the product that I'm building too. But I'm always interested in, people like to say, oh, creators don't want to pay for anything, right?
Mhm.
And I think what you're saying is a really interesting insight into what are the incentives, for a creator to change how they work. And, I think there is those like different levels of, are you kind of like this passive creator where you're not going to invest in any tools because you're kind of doing this for fun. at your leisure. You might get some UGC deals, like what have you. But then when you're operating at that elite level, you're likely being managed. And so, especially if you're doing like, 25,000 a pop, you're probably, I think it's 73% of creators that are not managed, but then
Mhm.
there's only like 12% that are making like six figures and up. So
Yeah.
like if you're in that 12%, you're likely being managed and someone sort of doing the operational aspects for you, which is why they get that 20%. But those folks that are in the middle are very interesting to me because these are folks who are doing it part time that may be getting around, an extra like 50 grand on, on top of whatever they earn in their regular job in the year. And those folks, like what their needs are also is also very interesting to me, especially when you think about SaaS platforms that may or may not, like what is the most useful tool for someone that's at that level, you
Mhm.
know, especially if they're like, I don't necessarily need a organization tool, because I'm doing it part time. I don't really need that, but I do want to figure out how to be better at this. Or maybe they're at the
Right.
point where you were, right? Where you were thinking like, okay, well, I'm going to quit my job and put all of my energy into, figuring this out. Like what would have been something you wish was there while you were in that transition period?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in that transition of like quitting my job, doing it full time, it's obviously scary because you're like, oh my gosh, what if I stop getting brand deals, or what if I, stop making money, or no one likes me anymore, especially because a lot of my content was tied towards my life at that time, and it was a lot about like me working a corporate job, and people loved that content, and I was like, oh gosh, now I'm literally taking away that corporate job content. But I think so, like, it was scary, just the unknown. And I just wish that there was more like even like financial planning, for example, of like, okay, this is how much you're expected to make, or this is how much, like I knew it based off of my previous income, but it would be nice to have more security in that, I guess. Would have been nice, or just seeing other people that have done it and like their growth trajectory. So I think there's just so much unknown that like I didn't even know what I didn't know at that.
Right. And that's important too, because like in anything that we do that's new, we're looking for, evidence of like who knows what they're doing so that I can like follow
Learn from them.
learn
Yeah.
from that. Yeah, and like follow that up. Okay, so on a personal tip, like when you think about your trajectory so far, has there been a sort of like personal lesson, whether on the business side or the professional side, but something that like sort of stuck to your bones, like, ah, like now I know, like this I know for sure in terms of, relationships or business or even finding the right co-founders or, any like major lessons from the last few years when you started this journey.
Yeah, I think that, well, the number one like lesson slash thing I'm grateful for is that I am a pretty like impulsive person when it comes to, if I want to start something, I'm just gonna start it and do it, and like
Mhm.
if it doesn't work, whatever, but I'm at
Mhm.
least gonna try.
Yeah.
And I think that I've noticed as I've met with other founders, or met with other people that want, not even other founders, more so like people that want to start businesses and people that want to do something else, like they want to quit their job, they want to pursue a different path, they want to start a business. I've noticed that a lot of people spend a lot of time talking about it and like thinking about it and researching it and telling people that they want to do it. But the difference between people that are talking about it, do it, like researching whatever, versus the people that are actually like starting businesses, is like the people that started businesses are still, yeah, they've talked to people, they've had a lot of meetings. I think that's like one of the best things I've done, is like networked and like asked people for advice. But in the meantime, I was already doing it. Like it wasn't like I was like, well, first I need to talk to 100 people and then I'm going to start. It was like, I'm going to talk to people as I'm building, and I'm just going to try and I'm going to do it. But a lot of people are too scared, or they're unsure, or they think that they need to know everything. Like they're trying to ask like, okay, well, once I start the business and then this happens, then what? And it's like every business is different. Like you're going to just have to start, or every create, like if you want to start content creation, like, oh, but I want to start, but like I just don't know, because I don't know if I have, like, I don't know if people are going to like my videos. It's like, well, if people don't like your videos, you'll figure that out pretty quickly. Like but like I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Exactly.
we can sit here and talk about it all you want, and we can guess if people are going to like them and if they're not, but like unless you post and unless you do it, you will literally never find out. And so I think that like that is the biggest difference I've seen, and I'm really grateful that I have been someone that I've just like jumped in, and things have failed for me. It's not like everything I've tried and done has like worked out, but it's like at least I got the ball rolling and I started, and I've like shifted and pivoted since then. So I think that's one really big lesson. And then the other one kind of along those lines is I think too many people are scared that it's like not the right time, but like it's never the right time. Like you can find a million reasons of why it's not the right time, but like going back to like you just have to do it. Like the world will tell you if it's not the right time. If you try and you give it everything you have and it doesn't work, maybe it wasn't the right time, but like you tried, you learned lessons. I just think that there's no downside in trying. Obviously you have to measure like a financial risk at like I'm not saying to put your entire life savings on something, and like if it doesn't work, then yeah, you have nothing, you have like a family that you need to raise. Like that's not what I'm saying, but I'm
Yeah.
like there is things that you can do and steps that you can take, even if you're working on it on the side, even if you're trying to find co-founders, even but like speaking it into existence in a way, instead of just
Yes.
talking to people about an idea. Like actually putting the work in to do it, I think is like the most important thing that anyone
I
needs to do.
I really, really love that. I am very much a little woo woo and uh, this is like my fourth like business that I've started. And so um I don't know if you're a Beyonce fan. I am. She had in her homecoming documentary, she talked about, she just had her twins. She was, trying to lose weight. She was trying to learn these dance moves, and she was talking about how people aren't willing to look dumb in the process, and she's
Yeah.
like, that's why people don't practice, because they're not willing to, you know, fumble or like get it wrong. And I love hearing you say, you have to be willing to fail. Like if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to have enough courage to be willing to fail. And that same courage is actually what's going to help you succeed. So like it can go either way, like do or do not. Like either way you're right,
Mhm.
And I think it's really smart to you know think about all of these sort of actions that you're taking as you're trying to fulfill a vision or an idea, and maybe removing some of um, the story or the emotional aspect of it, where it's like a part of your identity. I don't know if you feel
Mhm.
this way, but I think for a lot of entrepreneurs and for a lot of people, they've attached their identity to all of the things that they do. And I think I think it's important that you don't.
Yeah, I
Because
always say that because it's something that I'm guilty of. Like, I definitely feel, especially as a creator where my job is also to show my life, I definitely feel like it's like part of who I am. Like, I don't even know who I am without like my career, honestly. And like, it's something I'm like actively working on. But even like what you said, how people are scared to look stupid and so they don't even try. Like, so the number one reason if I talk to anyone about not wanting to start a business or not wanting to start content, not wanting to do whatever it is that they want to do is like, oh, but like I don't know, like I don't know if it's gonna work. And it's like, yeah, but like no one knows if it's gonna work. Like it's one of those things where you're not special because like you don't know if it's gonna work, but like everyone that started a business like had this sign from God that it was gonna work. Like it's that's not like no one knows if anything is gonna work. You
this
just
is
have
so
to
good.
try. Like I don't know. I don't and I think that that's ultimately it is like, well, if it doesn't work, I don't want to look stupid. Like if it doesn't work, I don't want to look like a failure.
Yeah.
And I mean, I always have that fear, like there's, as a business owner, as a content creator, like it's like, wow, do I look dumb if this doesn't work? But you just have to kind of be like, no, because I learned a lot. And also, failures happen every day. Every
Yeah,
successful person has a bunch of failures under their belt. It's like a rite of passage. So just who
absolutely. And
cares?
also
I
like
don't know.
looks stupid to whom, right? It's also like
Right.
being mindful of like, who's the critique coming from? Because usually nobody actually is paying that much attention to you. So
Right.
like,
And even if they are, it's fleeting. Like
it's so fleeting.
they
They're
might, yeah,
thinking about dinner next, like it's so like
they
we
might
put
think
way
about
too
it
much
as they see a post, and then like 5 seconds later, you're out of their brain.
completely, like completely out of the brain. I am so tickled by this. It's hilarious. And one of the things that I appreciate about being an entrepreneur, and I take it very seriously, is the support system around
Mhm.
me. For me, like my father, my sister, and like, a few of my girlfriends, like are a part of like my inner world when it comes to, just the emotional support that comes with being an entrepreneur. Um, Talk to me about your support system. Is that family, co-founders? Like, who are the people that are kind of supporting you as you're going through your valleys and your highs, and what has that meant to you in your journey so far?
Yeah, as from like the Rella business perspective, definitely my co-founders and my team. Like I could not start a business, like a software business at least, without co-founders. I mean, I just like I think that starting a business that you want to scale to like a really large size, you need support and you need people that are going through it with you because
Yeah.
your family doesn't understand, your friends aren't going to understand, your they're supportive of course and they're there to support you, but when you like really want to talk about like the nitty-gritty details of like what you're going through, no one in the world is going to understand like your co-founders because they're literally in it with you. So
And
co-founders
you
in
have
terms of
three,
business,
right?
two other co-founders, so there's three of us total, and then one
Oh,
other person on the team who she's been with us since the beginning, so she's like essentially another
yeah,
co-founder, it feels like.
yeah.
But yeah, so we're just a team of four total.
Did you know them before, or like how did you find them and grow like the trust?
Yeah, no, I met them through a mutual friend, but it was one, it was good because it came through a mutual friend. So it was also like, I trusted this one person and he spoke really highly of my co-founders. He knew them personally. But
Okay.
then we started like working together before we became co-founders. Like I was asking them to help me with this idea. And so when we were working together, we kind of realized like, wait, this is like a good fit. So I think that definitely also helped.
Oh, that's amazing. So your co-founders from like just the building of a business, kind of being in the nitty-gritty with you.
Mhm.
And then what about, folks that you don't work with where,
Yeah.
they may not understand, but like, or understand in the way in terms of the stakes and in terms of the risk, because maybe they haven't taken those jumps or those large of risks, but like people who can,
Yeah.
turn that frown upside down, or like just
Yeah.
understand more of you and your
Yeah. I,
personal
I think
goals.
that, I mean, obviously my family, my friends, like, and I'm someone that, like, I don't really like to talk about what, like, if something's going wrong with my business or I'm stressed about something. I actually, and I don't know if this is like, most people are like this or not, but I actually, like, don't like talking about it. And it's not that I'll internalize it. It's more that I feel like if I'm talking about it, I'm, like, giving it this power to stress
Hmm.
me out when
Hmm.
I know it's gonna work out, or and if it doesn't, whatever, I'll learn from it. I just try to be very like try to level my stress because as an entrepreneur you have so much stress because there's a million things that can go wrong. But I think you're only stressed if you let it affect you.
Yeah,
Where obviously I know I'm showing up for my business every day. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try everything that I can do. But after that, like it's really out of my hands. And so there's no point in me like dwelling on something. Like if I need advice about something, I have people that I go to, like friends and family and, my support system. But when it comes to just like stress, like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if we're gonna hit revenue goals this month, like that's something that I don't like even like to talk about because it's like there's nothing I can do. Like I've already done everything I can do up until that point, so after that, like it's just out of my hands. And
yeah,
so I think it's one of those things where I have to like mentally tell myself, like, as long as I am doing what I can and I am doing like my max potential, my max effort, whatever that looks like, then there's no point in worrying about it because like it's gonna whatever happens is gonna happen regardless of if I let it impact my sleep. Like so
yeah.
I'm
Right.
just gonna try not to think about it. And so I
I
I don't really like to talk about things that much.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the pragmatic point of view, because what it's almost like have you heard of stoicism? It's kind of like a
Yeah.
stoic
Hmm.
point of view. It's like these are the facts.
Hmm.
I'm not going to let it affect me,
Hmm.
and or let that data point all of a sudden have a story that's attached to my personhood. Like
Right.
it doesn't do anything. And as you know, stress is like a silent killer. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
like this is not going like this ain't gonna stress me out.
Yeah, and too many entrepreneurs I think glorify it. Like sometimes I think like, okay, I'm not that, if I'm not like losing sleep or I'm not, pulling an all-nighter, like am I a good entrepreneur? And I just have to think like, no, I did everything I can. I'm not going to be productive at that time of day. I'm not going to like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't care. So I'm like, I'm just going
I'm
to do
here
me
for
and
this.
that's it. Like, yeah.
I'm so here for that because and I think the I don't know if it's changing so much, but I know that there's another narrative, and Conscious Hustler is definitely a part of this narrative where it's like you can pursue excellence and not kill yourself over it. Like,
Right.
don't believe in
Exactly.
that.
And like, yeah, and
Let's,
I think people think unless they're like dying, then they're not doing enough. And I'm like, I don't want to sacrifice my health, my life even for this. Like, I think I'm doing enough and like I'm fine and yeah, I'm
I
doing the
think
most that I can.
more people need that. And I think actually, like as we sort of round this out, like I've a couple more questions for you, but one of them is, you know, as you've been building this company and, having this pragmatic point of view on, being the CEO of this company and leading this company into the next, the next phase, the next era of, fundraising, being a good just resource for your clients. How are you sort of thinking about the future? And, what does it mean for you to like vision out, a new era for, this business?
Mhm. I think, I mean, I like to take it like quarter by quarter. I mean, I have a big picture goal. Like, I do have a big picture goal. Like, I want to be I want Rella to be the leading social media tool for teams, agencies, and like in house social media managers. Like, I want to be this like above the tools that are currently out there, like Later, Hootsuite, Buffer, Planoly, Loomly, Metricool. Like, I want to have more users. I want to be like the industry leader. Like, that's a big picture goal. But then from there, I honestly just think quarter by quarter, because things change. Like we've done the yearly plan, we've done the okay, in Q1 we're gonna do this, Q2 we're gonna do this, Q3 we're gonna do this. It never stays the same. Like by this, literally the week after we plan, things change, and
Yeah.
so I'd rather just think of it as like, okay, what are we working on in these next like 3 months? Okay, let's reassess, and then like that has helped our business, that's helped us, and so as long as like we have that, yeah, we have a big picture goal, but from there we break it down into really small chunks, and
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about what I'm doing next in Q4 because
Right.
I have no
Let's get
idea
through
what that's going
Q1. Let's get through this like goal right here.
to.
Okay, now what would your advice be to creators as they're thinking about, their big goals? And for a lot of creators, it's to get more brand deals and to, generate more revenue than they had in the year before. Um, what would be your advice to them as they're looking at growing their business and growing their business goals? What should they have in their back pocket?
Number one, consistency. Like you cannot let low views, low engagement, blaming the algorithm and then letting you take a break. Like, and when I say take a break, obviously take a break if like you need to take
I
a
know
break,
what you mean.
but a lot of people take breaks just because they're unhappy with their views, and that is not a reason to do that, because then you're not going to get rewarded for like not posting, like if that's your, I just feel like people put too much of their identity also as a creator like in their views and their engagement, and then they compare, they'll be like, oh, this girl just blew up, she just grew 100,000 in like 30 days, what the heck. And it's like, one, could be sheer luck. There's a few people that are anomalies where they grow like that and like it's their first video and they have a million views. But most people that you see grow went through years of low views, low views, low views, but they were just consistent. And then all of a sudden they had this growth spurt. And so, and you don't even need a growth spurt. I think slow and steady growth is great, but I think you have to just like keep posting. When you see something that does well, do something similar, like make a second video, keep up the momentum of it. If you see something's not doing well, make a shift. Start a series. Like you can always experiment with social media. There's so many trends, there's so many new things going on. There's so many things you can recreate or like pull back from like what used to do well and recreate it for today. Like there's so many things you can do with social media, but the worst thing you can do that's like a killer, especially when you're trying to grow. If you're already big, like it doesn't really matter. But if you're trying to grow, having a month-long break of not posting like is really going to hurt your odds of continuing to grow and keeping that momentum, especially if it had to do with like just because you got low engagement, because that's not going to increase your engagement in the future.
I love that. Do you have an opinion on creators who are who desire management and are not figuring out how to get the right manager? Like, do you have an opinion on creators being managed or unmanaged?
Yeah, I don't think you need a manager. I think too many creators think manager equals success, and people have the only time you should get a manager is if you feel like you are either overwhelmed because of the inbound that you're getting and you need help. You are doing this on the side and you're getting enough inbound. Maybe it's not like an overwhelming amount if you were to do it full time, but because you're doing it as a side hustle, it's a little hard to manage your full-time job and social media, and like you're getting enough inbound where you need someone to help. But too many people think, "Oh, I just started on social media. I have no views, no followers. I need a manager to help me get brand deals." And it's like, no one's going to work with you. Like you need a community, and you need like already have done some things on your own before you get a manager. Like a manager doesn't help your views, it doesn't help your engagement, it doesn't help build community, it doesn't help you come up with content ideas, like none of that. Like a manager is there to help you with your like brand deal side of things and be marketable towards brands, and so everything else you need to do on your own. um so yeah, I don't think a manager is necessary. I think there's also huge creators that don't have managers if they're capable of doing it on their own. So it's really more of a, do you have enough time and to manage your own brand deals? But if you don't have any brand deals, that then you need to work on getting like building a community, because then they'll come and then you can get a manager if you even need one. But I don't think it's like management equals success. Like I don't view it as that.
I love that. And I'm so glad you said that too, because it is exactly that. It's exactly that. I feel that there's a misunderstanding around what is the role of management as it relates to any talent, not just creators in particular, but management should provide strategy, vision, guidance. If getting brand deals is the only thing that you think a manager should be doing for you, then you might even want to just have like find a business development representative,
Yeah.
like just be transactional about it. But I think for folks that are looking for management, you nailed it. Like you have to have a book of business that needs to actually be managed, you know?
Yeah, because managers work on commission for the most part. So like if you're not bringing in any money for them, then no one, they would never work with you because it's a commission based business. So
Mhm.
it's one of those, and also if you're not bringing any money, there's, you don't want to pay someone, because then like you're losing money. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that it's one of those things that too many people just see big influencers with managers, so then they equate, oh, if I want to be a big influencer, I need a manager, and they don't realize that they were a big influencer first and then they got a manager. It wasn't the opposite.
Yeah. And they had some level of like operation surrounding them so that they can, manage appropriately. Okay. So I think you've given us some really good nuggets, both as a content creator and having that under your belt, and then also as a founder and an entrepreneur. Is there any last sort of closing remarks or even calls to actions that you would like to give? Our audience is typically folks that are in the business community. And so this is going to be a really great conversation because they get a little bit of both sides of you from both the content side and the entrepreneur side. Is there anything that you would like the people to know or where to find you?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me just on social media at Natalie Barbu, but also happy to give a discount for your viewers for Rella. So, do you have like a
Woo!
typical coupon code that you normally like use for the podcast?
Yeah, we could do, Rella CH, Conscious Hustler.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do Rella CH and
Woo!
then you'll get 20% off all of the plans. So yeah, that's perfect.
What a treat. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, me too. You gotta try Rella too to manage everything.
I love that. And we will. Okay, so you guys find Natalie on all things Rella and just find her on the internet. She is such a treat to watch on YouTube. I'm like, okay, I got to get my content game up, but I'm really excited and really grateful that you were able to stop by and spend this time with us. These conversations are so important. It's important to me as a fellow founder and someone that has been in the creator business for a long time to always talk to folks that are in the space and just share more of the human behind the business. So glad we get to know a little bit more of you today, Natalie.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was great.
Absolutely. All right. Until next time, guys. See you later. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening to the Conscious Hustler podcast. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to this channel and feel free to reach out. I would love to hear from you. You can do so on LinkedIn or on Instagram. Just send me a DM. But until next time, keep listening, keep reaching out. We're in this together. And I hope you have a great rest of your week.